Since when did he come with 2 guns? The old one didn't have 2 guns. And all that effort and he still dies. What a shame. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're taking a look at another Studio 86 figure this time around. We have Ironhide. And this will definitely be a treat for a lot of the G1 fans, since now we have an Ironhide figure that is cartoon accurate. That was always a gripe amongst the G1 fans, since both Ironhide and Ratchet did not have toys that looked like how they did in the cartoon. It wasn't until many decades later that a fan site would create heads to fit on those old toys to make them better resemble their animated counterparts. And I did say several months back when I did do a review of the Ratchet figure, for the Studio 86 line that we would probably get Ironhide at some point. However, I wasn't expecting us to get a larger Ironhide. I was expecting them to do another core class figure. But instead, we get a Voyager. Not that I'm complaining, mind you. That means eventually we will likely get a Voyager Ratchet. And maybe a core class Ironhide. But we'll worry about that later when they decide to do that. At any rate, let's move Ironhide for a moment, and we can see his backdrop scenery is, of course, the bridge of the Autobot transport ship, where he, Ratchet, Prowl, and Brawn made their gallant last stand against the Decepticons. In a scene that did shock and traumatize many of us as children. But it definitely also showed us going into the Transformer film, this one was going to be dark, as all 4 of our Autobots did suffer very violent deaths. With it being implied here at the end that Ironhide literally got his head blown off by Megatron. That was pretty dark stuff back in 1986. I mean, of course, nowadays we have things like Mortal Kombat and all the different shooter games where we don't bat an eye against blowing people apart. But anywho, let's keep on with the subject at hand here. Now, while it's nice that we have a cartoon accurate version of Ironhide here, he does borrow a lot of the elements from previously released Ironhides. Because we did get an Ironhide figure in the Earthrise toy line, which was not too long ago. It was only a couple of years ago, I believe. 2 to 3. But this one borrows a lot of the elements from it, but it does its own thing as well. Parts of the transformation, they aren't entirely like how that one was. So it's nice to see that they did improve upon a successful formula that worked. Now, the Generation 1 version, which presently I don't have here available to show off with it, famously had it separate. The robot was basically formed by the front end and the lower portions of the vehicle, so leaving the upper portion of the back end of the vehicle to serve as a battle platform. So it looked kind of weird, but When that toy was originally released in the mid to late 70s, the toy that eventually became Ironhide, it was intended to be used as a powered mecha unit. And it came with little figures to fit in the seats. Hence why Ironhide and Ratchet didn't have heads. Alright, now let's take a look at Ironhide's accessories here. And we're going to start by showing off his guns. He comes with 2 of these guns. It's done up to sort of resemble how they appeared in the cartoon. All in all, they are nicely done. They're apparently molded in a black plastic and painted silver. So do be careful that you don't scratch the paint. We'll get the other one out so you can see that they both pretty much are the same gun. So nothing fancy with them. And then now we'll take a look at Ironhide's articulation. And since he's a modified version of a previous figure, the articulation will be about the same. You can turn his head from side to side. And it is on a bit of a ball joint, so it will rock up and down a bit. You can raise his arm at the shoulder, about so far. And it will rotate all the way. And it does so freely, too. We haven't had that in a while. You can bend his arm at the elbow 90 degrees, and he does have a swivel at the bicep. You gotta be careful with that, because it does pop off if you're not careful. There, just did it again. I wonder if Megatron or Larry's been tampering with my toys. But at any rate, we do have the swivel at the bicep, so he has G.I. Joe battle grip. We need to get away from this arm. It keeps popping off on us. You can twist him here at his hips, so Ironhide reluctantly has some dance moves. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. He does have a good thigh cut. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees. You can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. And you can also bend his leg at the ankle 90 degrees. So, all in all, you get a lot of posing options for this figure. And of course, before we start transforming him, I do want to show off that we do have plenty of options for storing Ironhide's guns on his backside here. Right here under what would be the bumper of the car, you can see there's a couple of posts protruding outwards. Well, they'll fit the larger of the holes here on the back of the gun, on the sides of the guns. So you can push them in like that, and then there you go. You can store the guns on his back. Or you have another option. Well, I got this one on real good, don't I? Pop. We have another option down here on his legs. These spots here on the back of the leg will also hold the guns in that exact same spot. And there you go. You've got plenty of storage for the guns. It's not often we get a lot of storage like that on these toys, so definitely better enjoy it. Alrighty, to transform Ironhide, we start by coming here to his chest. We're going to fold this part down. And we reach in here, we're going to fold this portion outwards as well. And then we fold his head in. Then we're also going to come to this portion we folded out, and there's some more pieces to fold out to complete the windows before we close it back up. Just like that. Now we come around here to his backside. We're going to fold down the bumper here. Shift his arms a bit so that they're not only straight, but they're pointing somewhat forward at an angle. Because we're going to detach them at the shoulder and fold them up. The one arm does have a post on it, so they should connect just like that. And of course, once you've got the arms done up like that, we're going to take and turn him around like so. And before we do that, I suggest we pitch him forward a little. Pitch the toy forward a bit, and then we want to rotate it, but we don't want to rotate the whole thing. Something's not rotating right here because part of this shouldn't be moving. Hold on a second. Okay, we figured that out. We got to get the body to pitch a bit like here. And then you would rotate only the upper portion around like that. So then once that's done, then you can bring the bumper up and it'll connect into the spot it needs to. Then we start to fold everything to the back like that. Timber. Once we start getting him folded back, bend the arms at the elbow so that way they're starting to fold downwards. And they also, while we're having us do this, they also want you to fold the fists down. Now, of course, once we've done that, then they want us to fold up an area of his kneecaps. It'll be kind of tough to do with these fingernails. Hold on. And if I was wrong, we're not lifting up his kneecaps, we're lifting up these panels underneath the kneecaps. So this right here moves up. And once we've done that, we fold out this portion of the feet. And then fold out the windows that are in his feet. Because we're going to shift the legs at the kneecap to fold these up to start forming the rear portion of the van. And of course, once we've done that, then we start putting everything together, snap everything into place. Get him back down here like that. Because we got to bring this portion up so that it connects with his hands. We have to shift the legs a little bit. It would help if the arms would stay connected like they're supposed to. There we go, starting to get it. There we are. There we are, now they're connected. Alright, once that's all connected up, then so you can fold down the rear door like that. Then we start opening up these side panels and folding them up, because we're going to shift them around towards the front of the vehicle. And then they get folded in as well to help connect everything together. If need be, detach the front windscreen a little bit so it'll help give you a little room to wiggle everything together. And there we have it. Ironhide transforms into a little minivan. This is based on the 1980s Nissan one-box vanette. And in this mode, he also has different ways to store his guns as well. As we showed you, the leg portion that you could store his guns on is now on top. So you can put the guns up there to be in attack mode. Or, for another clever use, these posts down here by the back wheels are also available. You can put them in there like that, and they double as exhaust pipes. And even better, with them being back there, it does not hamper the rolling ability of the toy whatsoever. So now we get down to my thoughts. While it is a bit of a pain to transform this version of Ironhide, this is actually a welcome version of the toy. We finally have one that looks like how he did in the cartoon. And he actually has some great methods for storing his weapons. You have quite a bit of options on that with this toy. So, if you missed out on the Ironhide that was released back in the Earthrise lineup, this is definitely one to get, especially if you're an old school G1 fan like myself, or a major fan of the 1986 animated film. At any rate, that's my review of the Studio 86 version of Ironhide. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please do remember that if you like the content we feature here on this channel, please do remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.